News. Our good friend Kathleen Bittner Roth is back with us this morning with the release of another new book that's getting rave reviews. It's called Celine, and she's here to tell us all about it. It's good to see you.
Good to see you. Good
Welcome
to be here.
back.
Thank you.
So if people don't know about Kathleen, we met her years ago when Tangi started the show. We always worked with you, knew you were a writer, but you also utilize your intuition for many things.
Right. I was born very intuitive. And I started a well-being center in 1985 here in San Antonio.
Yes, and you've done so many things since then.
Yes.
And I'm so excited for the success you're having. But I think this is very interesting because you utilized your intuition when it came to writing this book. Tell me a little bit about that.
Okay, so I don't plot. I just sit down, I have an idea, and I just let it roll. And so I got to one scene where the two cousins, the hero and his brother, his cousin, had to go from the plantation to New Orleans, and I needed a reason. So I'm just typing away, and I just thought, oh, okay, they're wealthy ship owners, so I'm just going to have them found the Bank of New Orleans. And then I can check later when I do my research to see if there actually is a Bank of New Orleans.
Right.
And when I went back at the end of the book to do my research, not only is there a Bank of New Orleans, but it was chartered and founded on the very day that I had them down doing it.
Interesting.
Now, right. And then the next thing was, while he was there, I had to have something come between, a woman come between the hero and heroine. So I took them, I thought, Lola Montez, wasn't she a dancer?
She sounds sassy.
Yeah, she was a sexy dancer and traveled the world, and I'll just put her down, and at the end, if it's not right, I'll just put in the author notes that I made that up. And I go and I look on research, and she was in New Orleans one time, the very month and year that I had her there.
I kind of feel like maybe you were there at some point visiting and you know, keeping track of these things that happened in the 1800s and 1700s and years ago.
Years and years ago. It makes me wonder because when I used Oak Alley Plantation as, and I looked it up and everything afterwards, and then I went to New Orleans and I visited, and I had a rose garden, I had a little stream, I had everything set out, I had 2 chandeliers in the dining room, and when I got in there, I had everything right except transposed. The rose garden was over here instead of here. The stream was here instead of there. And the friend who was with me kept whispering in my ear, this is creepy. This is really creepy. And I had the heroine dressed in a gown. It was turquoise. And we got upstairs at Oak Alley, and there is a gown there that is exactly like I described it, but in bronze. So somehow we're picking up, you know, our intuition's 100% correct. It's never wrong. And so I've learned to trust that intuition with my life, literally with my life, which is how I ended up in writing all these books and everything.
So Celine is the first in a series, and it is out today. You can get it online, Amazon, all those places, and Kathleen's going to be doing a book signing, and I'll tell you all about that in a minute. But what's next in the series?
The next book comes out back-to-back, really, November 4th, Alana, and there is a really, everybody calls him a hottie.
There's a hottie in the
book? She gets lost, and he's looking for her. He's hired to look for her, and he is a tracker of lost people. But he has his wounds, and he was 6 years old when he watched his mother get murdered. So book 2 is Alana, and it's his story of how he finds his mother's murderer.
And this is sort of historical romance. That's the terminology that is what you write about, which means I love it because you're learning a little bit about the history, if you may, but you're also getting entertained at the same time.
That's right. And people say that my research is impeccable, but I also, and I think it's because of the 20-some-odd years of running a well-being center that I know people. And so the characterizations and how I build the arc of the growth of wounded people towards the end. And people have been writing to me who have read the advanced reader's copies and who've read the other books that were out, saying that they laughed and they cried, and one of them wrote to me and said, I cried ugly through this one because I could relate to so much of what she went through.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you are looking for something to entertain you as well as give you some aspect on Kathleen's intuition, pick up Celine. Kathleen will be selling the books as well as signing them at the Twig on October 12th, and that will be from 3 to 5 p.m. You can find out more on her website, KathleenBittnerRoth.com, but join her at the Twig on October 12th from 3 to 5 p.m. And if you just can't wait, we've got a book for a lucky San Antonio Living viewer. If you're caller number 4, it's yours, 470-5444. Give us a call, and Kathleen's new book is for you. All right, don't go away, because up